and we're not going to let it happen again. Yes, please.
Mr. President, on a slightly different subject, on your Canada and Mexico tariffs, will oil be included or excluded from those tariffs?
So we'll be announcing the tariffs on Canada and Mexico for a number of reasons. Number one is the people that have poured into our country so horribly and so much. Number two are the drugs, fentanyl, and everything else that have come into the country. And number three are the massive subsidies that we're giving to Canada and to Mexico in the form of deficits. And I'll be putting the tariff of 25% on Canada and separately 25% on Mexico. And we will really have to do that because we have very big deficits with those countries. Those tariffs may or may not rise with time.
Will oil be part of that, though? Because we get oil from Canada.
Oil is going to have nothing to do with it as far as I'm concerned. Oil has nothing to do with it.
Mr. President, you said in confidence.
Guantanamo Bay, you want 30,000 new beds there. Is there a possibility that will increase, or is 30,000 the maximum?
It could increase, yes.
What would be the maximum?
It depends, but countries that won't take back their criminals that they sent into us, you know, they sent them to us. They put them into the caravans and they came in. As sure as you're standing there, they were sent by those countries. Then they're going to be met very harshly with sanctions, etc.
When are you hoping to have Guantanamo Bay, this new facility, up and running?
It'll be up pretty quickly.
How much do you think it's going to cost?
Not very much. A lot of the structure is already there, as you know.
Mr. President,
Guantanamo Bay. Guantanamo Bay. Do y'all remember what that was for? Do y'all remember what that was for? After 9/11, they had everybody in Guantanamo Bay. Your country don't want you back. Guantanamo Bay. Guantanamo Bay. They shut that mug down. Trump rebooting it back, or they already rebooted and he just rebuilding or whatever. But if you illegal and you come over here, you might end up in Guantanamo. You might not want to come over in this mug. I'm letting you know now. He letting you know you might not want to come in this way. Like, that's funny. So we got this one, and then he actually tells you why he put the tariffs on you. So you don't have to act like you don't know why the tariffs be hitting everybody, because everybody's making up stuff.
We may have short-term a little pain, and people understand that. But long-term, the United States has been ripped off by virtually every country in the world. We have deficits with almost every country. Not every country, but almost. And we're going to change it. It's been unfair. That's why we owe $36 trillion. We have deficits with everybody. We help everybody. We've been helping everybody for years. And to be honest, I don't think they appreciate it. So we're going to change that. We're going to change it fast. We're going to make America great again.
Yo, tariffs for everybody. Tariffs for everybody. Canada gets tariffs. Mexico gets tariffs. Even China. China can get the smoke. China gets the tariffs too. Everybody gets the smoke. If you've been ripping us off, tariffs. You gonna get a tariff. You gonna get a tariff. You gonna get a tariff. Everybody gets tariffs. And that's how Trump's been rolling right now. And guess what? It's been working. It has been working. Now, you did see he said that oil and energy and all that's not going to be in there. However, let's take a look and see what the Prime Minister Justin Trudeau has to say about this. All right. Prime Minister Justin Trudeau here. Why is this? Give me a second. All right. Like, it just keeps restarting.
Unfortunately, the actions taken today by the White House split us apart instead of bringing us together. Tonight, I am announcing Canada will be responding to the U.S. trade action with 25% tariffs against $155 billion worth of American goods. This will include immediate tariffs on $30 billion worth of goods as of Tuesday, followed by further tariffs on $125 billion worth of American products in 21 days' time to allow Canadian companies and supply chains to seek to find alternatives. Ce soir, j'annonce la réplique du Canada. Des tarifs douaniers de 25% sur 155 milliards de dollars de marchandises américaines. Dès mardi, 30 milliards de dollars de produits américains vont être touchés par ces tarifs et dans 21 jours, pour donner le temps aux compagnies canadiennes de trouver des options alternatives, ce sera le cas pour 125 milliards de dollars de marchandises.
Same thing he just said in English.
Like the American tariffs, our response will also be far-reaching and include everyday items such as American beer, wine, and bourbon, fruits and fruit juices, including orange juice, along with vegetables, perfume, clothing, and shoes. It'll include major consumer products like household appliances, furniture, and sports equipment, and materials like lumber and plastics, along with much, much more. And as part of our response, we are considering, with the provinces and territories, several non-tariff measures, including some relating to critical minerals, energy, procurement, and other partnerships. We will stand strong for Canada. We will stand strong to ensure our countries continue to be the best neighbors in the world.
So what's up? What are these non-tariff measures on energy, oil and stuff and lumber and stuff like that? What are the non-tariff measures that you're talking about here, my guy? Nothing. Nothing. You don't want to play this game with us. You don't want to play this game with America. Are you are you sure this the road that you Are you sure this the road you want to go down? Are you sure this the road you want to go down, Prime Minister? Because as you see, Trump, he's not playing these games. And guess what? That's not the road he wanted to go down. You know why it's not the road he wanted to go down? Because he backtracked. He backtracked the whole thing. The whole thing backtracked. Check this out. Not only did he bag it up, so Canada put tariffs on us, Mexico put tariffs on us. After we put tariffs on them, they put tariffs on us, and they thought that we were going to, like, I don't know, maybe back down or blink or second guess or whatever, but we weren't. We want the demands that we want, and when you meet the demands, the tariffs will be removed. It's just that simple. People are trying to make this out to be something that is not. Oh, it's a trade war. It's a trade war. No, it's not a trade war. Like, it's not a trade war. We're not here. We're not. That's not what we're doing. This is a secure our border. Secure the border. Stop the fentanyl. Stop the illegals from coming over here. That's what this is. When you do that, we all good, baby. We all good. We back to normal.
Well, I think that question was posed on 60 Minutes last night. Let's fast forward to what's happening right now. There are no tariffs. There's a pause on this because, as has been reported by CNN and every other news outlet, both Mexico and Canada have reached agreements today with Donald Trump to do what we want them to do, which is to put people and technology and resources at the border to stop the flow of people and drugs, illegal immigration, stem the tide. That is the whole point of this exercise. And that is apparently what is happening. And yes, there have been some troops there in Mexico. This is an agreement to do permanent deployment. And yes, some of this stuff in Canada was already announced, but now they were dragging their feet. Now their feet are held to the fire. They've got 30 days to really implement, and they can't pussyfoot around anymore. So the point of this exercise today, to me, had less to do with trade and more to do with saying to our neighbors, you need to be better neighbors. We are more important to your economy than you are to ours. So you need to help us with our serious problem, which is illegal immigration and people dying from fentanyl. And they both said yes today, and that is a win for Donald Trump.
Plain and simple. Plain. Thank you, Scott. Plain and simple. It's a win. People are trying to paint it as, oh, well, they already said they were going to do this earlier, and Canada made these agreements back in December, and they were going to do this already, and this isn't a win for Trump because they were already going to do this. Trump just backpedaled. No, they were dragging their feet. The agreement is to postpone these tariffs for 30 days while you meet these expectations. If you don't meet these expectations, it was 25%. Who's to say it won't be 35, 45 when it come back in a month? If you don't get this stuff together, get our border together, get your border together, we're supposed to be allies, right? You're like, oh, we're such good neighbors and we fought at Normandy and all this stuff. This is what Justin Trudeau said. Oh, we fought at Normandy and we're supposed to be sticking together and good neighbors and we built the world's strongest military alliance. Well, how about you build the world's strongest border on up against your side and our side? Build the world's strongest border with us, and then we'll have something to talk about. Then we'll take these tariffs off. How about that? But I doubt that happens because, bro, he been dragging it. Why didn't you just do it in December? Why didn't you do it he told you guys back in November what was going to happen. He told it to Mexico, he told it to Canada, he said, and he told it to China if they don't stop trying to get these this cheap steel and stop shipping stuff through Mexico into us so you can circumvent the tariffs from China, and the free trade agreement with Mexico allows no tariffs to come into our country. That's what's going on. That has to stop. As well as these people coming over, that has to stop. So the tariffs between Canada, United States, Mexico, they're all on pause. Everybody paused the tariffs 30 days and we'll see what happens from there. We do have though China. China's not playing. China is not playing. So they impose sanctions on us. We impose sanctions on them. They imposed them back. And we did 10% on them. I believe they did like 15% on some of our stuff. And then we're going to keep it going. He promised 60% already. So I'm not sure if you guys want to actually make it to 60%. But that's a huge amount of money, which I'm all for. Hey, if it keeps me from paying more taxes, I'm all for it. We shouldn't even be paying this much taxes. Like, how are other countries paying less taxes than United States citizens? Back before taxes were legal, guess who paid all the tariffs? Guess who paid all the taxes? Tariffs. Tariffs paid all the taxes. Taxes were unconstitutional. They bamboozled. They said, they told the poor people that, oh, if you vote on this is going to be taxes for the rich. And then it trickled down. And now guess who gets taxed the most? Not the rich. Everybody complains the rich needs to be taxed more now. Why would have you not learned? If they raise the taxes on the rich, what you think they're going to do to you? They're going to raise your taxes as well. You know how you get out of paying so much taxes? Do like the rich do. Everybody's an entrepreneur in America. Yeah, like, you are a entrepreneur. You could do business as yourself and you can do write-offs. But no, people rather complain and say, we need more taxes. Crazy stuff. Crazy stuff.
And breaking this morning, one trade war is on after the U.S. retreated from two others. The Wall Street Journal declared this morning Trump blinks on tariffs against Canada and Mexico after receiving concessions the countries had largely agreed to weeks or months ago. But China is a different story. A 10% tariff on Chinese imports went into effect at midnight. China retaliated immediately, a 15% tax on U.S. coal, 10% on U.S. crude oil, and large displacement cars and pickup trucks. Also, an investigation into Google for allegedly violating their anti-monopoly regulations. So this is the back and forth over just the last few hours. Let's get right to CNN's Elena Treen at the White House. Mark Stewart standing by in Beijing. Elena, first to you. This is a trade war, the one that Donald Trump has not backed off from.
That's exactly right. And as you mentioned, John, the president's widespread 10% tariffs on all of Chinese goods went into effect at 12:01 this morning. We saw Beijing immediately retaliate with a barrage of their own measures. But look, this 10% figure is a far cry from the 60% figure we know that the president repeatedly talked about and threatened to levy on China throughout his time on the campaign trail. And it really signals that if the two countries cannot come to some sort of deal, we could see these tariffs increase even further. Now, we did hear the president kind of speak to this yesterday while in the Oval Office. Take a listen to how he put it.
We'll have some good meetings with China. We have meetings planned, and we'll see what happens. But that was just an opening salvo. If we can't make a deal with China, then the tariffs will be very, very substantial.
So you heard him, John, say that this is just an opening salvo. Now, look, we do know that the president is expected to speak directly with Chinese President Xi Jinping in the coming days. Unclear exactly when that will happen. But the key question, of course, is whether or not we could see some sort of swift deal come into place, just like we saw the president reach with both Canada and Mexico. Tariffs, of course, which were supposed to also go into effect at 12:01 today, but they were able to push that off for a month while the two sides continue to speak. Now, one thing as well that I know I'm picking up on in my conversations is how different Republicans could respond to a deal like that. We know many Republicans, particularly those on Capitol Hill, are a bit skeptical right now of whether the president is still just as hawkish on China as he has been in the past. It seems, if he is willing to make a deal with Xi Jinping, and maybe if these tariffs end up seeing an off-ramp like he had with the other countries, we could be hearing a lot of criticism from some of the hawks on Capitol Hill.
Yeah,
John?
that will be one interesting dynamic to watch for sure. Elena, stand by. Let's go to Mark.
You can hear when he started talking from the jump, you could hear the bias in his voice already. You could hear the bias in his voice. You could tell by the choice of words that he used when he was talking about he backpedaled or something like that, back down. Like the choice of words that he used when he first described the tariffs and how Trump put him on hold for 30 days. What? And I told you, man, they all saying, oh, well, this was already a concession that Canada was already going to do. So it's not really a win for Trump. Bro, it's a win. It's a win. Like, did they do it under Biden? If they didn't do it under Biden, they said they were going to do it. It doesn't matter. People say they're going to do stuff all the time and they don't do it. So it don't matter if you say you're going to do it. The point is, when you do it, are you going to stick to it? He was going to do it. He told them what was going to happen. They made an agreement. What more do you want? You want him to still put the tariffs on them, even though he came to agreement with them? No. If they're going to do what we asked them to do, give them 30 days. Let's see what happens. China, he said he was going to throw tariffs on them. We're going to throw tariffs on them. They're not on our border. The thing with China was not the same as Mexico and Canada. Mexico and Canada, they're letting people in our borders. They're letting people in our country. They're letting drugs in our country. We want it to stop. China, they're pushing the drugs. They're pushing the drugs. They're pushing them into Mexico and swinging them right up through here. We want more from China. We want more from China. We need a lot larger concession from China than we needed from Canada and Mexico. Let's continue. Let's see what biased CNN has to say next.
Stewart in Beijing. And Mark, Elena used the term opening salvo because that's what President Trump said. And I think we get the sense this morning that China could have done a lot more, but is keeping some of its powder dry.
China could have done a lot more. In fact, I was discussing with a colleague earlier today, the one item that is not on this tariff list are soy products, which are...
Look at this dude smile. This dude is so happy. He's so happy to say China could do more. They could ruin us, guys. They could do it. They're much better than us. This dude is smiling to fucking say this. He is. Look at grinning. He just can't even contain himself.
Are very important to China because of the big pork industry here. If that were to be on the list, that could have a big impact. But we've been going through this list, and a lot of focus is on energy sources. No question those are important, but if you look at the Chinese economy, China gets energy from so many other places beyond the United States, such as the Middle East, such as Russia. So in many regards, this is a symbolic move. In fact, the list also includes American pickup trucks, which are not a very popular item among American consumers. Something that did catch our attention, though, is that China is targeting 2 U.S. companies on a corporate level, putting them on what's known as a list known as an unreliable entities list. 2 companies, including one PVH, which has Calvin Klein and Tommy Hilfiger, 2 very well-known brands, under its heading. China, in the most simple of terms, is saying that these companies are not following the rules, and that if China wants to, it can punish it and take action on its investments, its imports, its exports, its worker visas. That could be very detrimental. Still waiting to hear from these companies exactly if they have been notified and how that will play out. But this phone call that we've been talking about between these 2 leaders is going.
They can take control. They could take control of this company's assets, resources, people, everything, investments, all of it in China. So why you go do business there? Oh, it's cheaper. It's cheaper. It's cheaper. I get it. I get it. So are these stipulations worth it? Is being in a disagreement with a country that you're producing everything in because it's cheaper and you don't want to do it in America, is that conducive to your business strategy when America is going against them? What happens when your country goes against that country and you're doing business in that country and it's a communist country? You partner with them. You partner with China so you can do your business there and stuff. You know who's the only smart person that kept full control of everything, didn't have to give anything to the Chinese government? Elon Musk. Tesla went over there and they conquered. They didn't give anything to get over there. You know why? Because they want that company there. They want that company there. That's one of the best companies out here on this planet right now, and they want them. Why would you? They got all this, like, this is moot. This is a moot points right here. Moot points. Google, Tommy Hilfiger, Calvin Klein, clothing companies. You're talking about you can take actions on them. What you gonna do? Steal their clothes? Crazy. I mean, crazy. Hey, y'all better cut ties with them. Come back over here. Cut ties with them. Come back over here.
Is going to be crucial because it will determine where this compass goes. Now that China has retaliated, will the White House throw back more tariffs back at China, or is the table going to be open for negotiation? When these 2 leaders last talked 2 weeks ago on a phone call, China talked about a fresh new start. We'll have to see if that language holds in this upcoming communication, John.
Yeah, we will see if China can get the same results that Canada and Mexico did from the United States, and likewise. All right, Mark Stewart in Beijing.
You see what I'm saying? You see how the biasness is framed. Let's see if China can get the same concessions from us that Canada and Mexico did. Like, we lost in the deal. They framing it like we lost in the deal with China. I mean, we lost in the deal with Canada and Mexico, that they raked us over and we lost to them because of the deal that we made with them, postponing our tariffs for 30 days while they implement everything that we want. But yet we lost in the deal. We got the short end, and they're like, well, I wonder if China can do the same thing to us. And then he had to cover it up and say, likewise. Likewise. You know when somebody meets you, like if you say I love you to somebody and they say likewise, you get what I'm saying? It is BS, bro. BS. This dude, biased. CNN, they're going to be going up under soon. they're going to be going up under real soon, real soon.